Well, this is the spooky season, don't you know? That's why we have the Balaklumpkin here.
Balaklumpkin.
Everybody's playing this stupid goddamn identity politics game where they go, oh, I'm blue, I'm red, this is me, hurrah, hooray. And it's like, fuck your politics, bro.
Fuck your politics. Fuck your blue,
politics.
fuck your red.
Yeah.
Fuck liberals, fuck Republicans.
Fuck it.
It's about the Constitution.
It's about the Constitution. It's about individual fucking freedoms.
That's it. It's about the government not stepping.
That Joel Osteen is just such a handsome young man.
It
No
was more
arch.
of me on no arch. I was on my elbows, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Ass a little in the air, right? But I was definitely in a position to get plowed. Do you want to do a more professional, fresh take on that?
Welcome, everybody, to the 2A Procast. This is the brand new studio that you're seeing for the first time today.
Brand new. Today, we're going to be covering a couple of things. Just to let you guys know before you start digging in and, you know, establish a willingness to spend your time with us. It's going to be a news, kind of a scan the internet news coverage today. We're going to be talking about some anti-gun measures that have been passing through. And something really, really that tickles my taint is...
I'm probably going to get mad.
There's an article of semen in the water. Semen in the water. That you did not mishear that. Stick around for semen in the water. It is an incredible article about, well...
What are you doing in my shower?
Yeah. You can only imagine. But it's a real news story. It's a thing, guys. And then we're going to talk about AB 92, Body Armor Ban. We're going to talk about... all the sorts of shenanigans going on in Maine. Talk a little bit about that, about what's going on. Go ahead and preface that real quick.
So the Maine shooting, I think everybody is well aware of what's,
and the lack
for the
of,
most part, of what's going on down there and its craziness. There seems to be like a lot of crazy, weird information. I don't necessarily want to say misinformation, but a weird information going around.
Indeed.
It's a lot of stuff is being confused and miscalculated, I should say.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into that as well.
Yeah, and you know, Massachusetts is doing some crazy shit with their gun laws right now. I want to dig into that, and then California has just a slew of shit that's coming out that's going into effect by July-ish. Nice.
Sorry.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it is approaching All Hallows Eve, and we've got ourselves. The pumperator, the operator, pumpkinator. You had a better one, the balaclava, pumpkin clava.
It's the Balaklumpkin.
Balaklumpkin?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of any clever names for this own bitch. But,
so leave them in the comments down below.
Leave them in the comments down below. Let us know what to name this. And this was your pumpkin for the pumpkin carving contest,
Correct.
right?
This is possibly the most expensive pumpkin carving that ever has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$12,000 pumpkin.
Yep.
To be exact.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think those nods are nearly that much now, but when I bought them, they were certainly.
Hey, they hold their value pretty well.
Maybe. I don't know. I've checked on those lately. I'm like, God damn it! I can get those like $3,000-$4,000 less than I paid for them. I think.
That's okay, but here's the thing:
I know.
you have them.
But I have them.
You have them.
They're here. Well, I don't. The pumpkin has them.
Well, the pumpkin currently has them. But that, I feel like, is a great jumping point for a fun little opinion piece before we jump into the news here. I was reading some comments.
Wait.
Oh, there's more?
There's more.
Oh, shit.
What's happening back here?
Oh, it's 2A Pro by Tacticon.
2A Pro by Tacticon.
Yeah, our brand new car studio.
Yeah. So we were interrupting the break room, which you guys used to see the 2A Pro room in.
Yeah.
Everybody kept coming in, wanted to eat their fucking lunch.
Like, they wanted to use the company break room.
Yeah,
Fucking
like,
pansies.
I know.
Yeah.
Like an asshole. You got to break when you got this job. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't know where to look. You've got so many cameras and they're so close to us now.
Primarily, if you wanted to look at one, you could look straight ahead or you could look at yours over there.
I'm going to choose this.
We can
guy
also
right
just
here.
like keep looking at each other.
That's
But
okay.
they're like also more cornered now, so it feels more appropriate to look at the camera,
I
doesn't
feel like it's more comfy in this room. Like it's a little more.
I feel calm.
Yeah, like I could really take a open the pants handy from you under the table and not mind. Not
Don't
that I
act-
would have before.
Don't act like you're already not getting an over the pants footy right now.
Believe me, it's the only reason you still have a job, Nolan. But Nolan and I sat around and kind of thought of like, how do we make a nice, cozy little spot? And then Nolan really went to town while I was in, I think I was in Washington, D.C. while you were really kind of banging some of this out. And yeah, got the flag flag posted up there. I know you're going to put a M16A2 right underneath that.
Yeah, it's leaning against the wall,
You
but
got your
we'll have it mounted.
Combat Dildo Chucks poster back there, which is fucking fantastic.
So everybody can see that.
You got these old school pinup, little pinup girl.
Yeah, we're
over
gonna get
here.
some more of those up
Fucking
there.
fantastic,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
And
looking
then,
great.
obviously, last but certainly not least, move the Bollica Plumpkin. The Declaration of Independence is in the house.
Yeah,
So
it's important.
Thought we'd show that off. Last thing I'll say before we really dig in is I need your guys' support. I will not ask you for money.
Ever.
Well, in exchange for goods.
Yeah, it won't be something like, hey, just pay me because.
Yeah, in exchange for goods and possibly services by Nolan's mouth. But what I am going to ask for, and I will look you in the eye when I say this, is Facebook absolutely demolished, nuked our account. They destroyed the Tacticon Armament Facebook page. Obviously
Your personal page.
And they destroyed my personal page. I had over 50,000. We had over 50,000 followers on the Facebook page. Not that big of a deal. The bigger issue was they torched my personal page, which my wife lost her entire. Everything was curated very nicely on Facebook. I don't know. So she was pretty upset. Anyway, we are trying to rebuild it because Facebook is a way to reach those who don't use Instagram and YouTube. I would appreciate it if both on the Two-Way Pro page, you see Two-Way Pro up here, that's how it's spelled, and our Tacticon Armament page, if you would like and follow those pages. That's all I ask. Like and follow Two-Way Pro on Facebook and Tacticon on Facebook. I appreciate you. I will throw the links to those two Facebook pages down in the description. It would mean the world to me. And you'll be the first ones on there, so we can you'll have all of my attention. If that's something you even fucking wanted in the first place, probably not. Yeah. But you will have all of my attention because you'll be the only guy on there being like, hey, Jake, what's up? And I'll be like, hey, you're my only follower. So
yeah, absolutely.
Because there's only like 1,500 people that watch these podcasts. Well, 2,000. I think we 2,000 on the last podcast. We're cracking
2,000 now. And we love every one of you.
We do.
Also, so not to forget to give a little shout out to our Discord. Don't forget, we have our Discord, 2A Pro. Some wildcats in there having a great time talking about all things good, 2A. Getting together,
talking about gear, talking about training, talking about mental health, even, everything, and all sorts of really cool stuff.
It's a cool space for you to get together, maybe find some people in your state, or just find people like-minded that share the same interests, that really are here to support the Second Amendment.
That's right.
That's the most important bit.
And we're gonna start a channel for find Mr. Card, Robert Card. The main shooter.
Yeah.
We'll do some on.
Fuck. We're not there yet.
If he even exists.
Skipping ahead. But to jump back before you graciously brought our attention to the wall.
Yeah.
We were talking about the nods and how I said you now have them.
I have them.
You have them. Right?
I do have them.
So here's what I was getting to with this.
Yes.
I'll see in our comments quite a bit that people will say, hey, don't buy that. Just save up and buy like an EOTech or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
XYZ.
Sure.
And I was thinking to myself, that mindset, right? Like just save up and do it. Mm-hmm. Well, what if saving up and doing that is going to take you 3, 4, 6, 8, maybe a year? Who knows, right? However much longer.
Right.
Let's say the whole reason, and I hate to play with hypotheticals, right? Hypotheticals suck, but we carry guns for hypotheticals.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole reason we carry a firearm.
That's right.
Well, what if something pops off tomorrow?
Yeah.
And you're saving for that EOTech.
Yeah. It's the old adage. Look, it's what is the best? Now I'm going to totally butcher this, but what's the best time to buy a house? Yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. Yesterday. What's the best time to start going to the gym?
Yesterday. Yeah.
Right. It's always that yesterday, but the next best time, the second best time is right now. Like whatever you can do right now. The best time to go train is right now, right? It was yesterday, and if you didn't get to it, then start today, because anybody can literally go grab a firearm and start doing, some trigger discipline stuff, or a lot of the dry fire drills that you have created.
Yeah.
And you can also go out and buy the stuff that you can afford.
Yeah.
Like fuck the whole buy once, cry once thing. It's garbage.
Yeah.
Because there's a thing called the secondary market.
Correct.
Which you can sell your stuff and get money back, not at full price.
Also, I said this once.
It's amazing.
When you start learning piano or violin, do you go out and buy out $100,000 piano or $100,000 violin? No, you don't.
No.
Anyways.
My first guitar was I don't even know. Actually, that my second guitar was a Fender, and it was only like $120 black Fender.
Hell yeah.
Non-electric. I mean, it was an acoustic, but it wasn't electric acoustic. It was a garbage guitar. But my first guitar, I don't even know what it was. It was like Bob's guitar.
Sick.
It was some name that I couldn't pronounce, a company that I had never heard of. It sounded like absolute shit. But I was like, look, if I care about playing enough to buy a better guitar, I'll fucking do it.
Right.
And I did. And then I did it. And now I have a Taylor.
Right.
Why? Because I play on a regular basis. I like to play. So I bought a nice guitar, and it sounds better and it plays better. And that's just the way things work. So I do not, because if I had waited until I could afford it to buy a guitar, to play guitar, guess what?
You probably wouldn't have bought
I would have never bought the fucking guitar.
Or started playing.
No, because I wouldn't have known how much I fucking liked it. I wouldn't have gotten better at it enough to enjoy it to purchase something else.
Right.
If I had bought it, if I had saved up and waited to do it. And then, not to mention, guys, there's this other thing about that entire mentality that kind of gets me too. It's like, if you show up with all the Gucci shit, people are going to expect you to be a Gucci dude, right? True. Meaning this, if I show up with a $4,000 fucking guitar, and then I sit down and I'm about to play, people are going to have an expectation.
That's very true.
That I should know how to play that fucking guitar.
That's so true.
Now, translate that over into the tactical world. You show up with a $4,000 Noveski, and you've got $12,000 nods on your helmet, and you've got, like, name any of your other Gucci shit here, right?
You got $30,000 worth of kit.
You got $30,000 worth of kit, and you shoot like shit, they're going to laugh at you. If you show up and you got $3,000 worth of kit or $300 worth of kit, and you shoot like shit, they're going to be like, fair enough. At least the dude's out here training.
Yeah.
It's the same mentality that I have when some people, and I've heard this before, and it drives me fucking crazy, dude. I really hate it when people do this, and I will stop being friends with people if I hear them do this. Like, it really fucking bothers me.
I'm listening.
I see Lart, like, I'm in the car with people before, and they're like, fuck, dude, what is that guy even doing? And it's an overweight person running down the road.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
That's what he's fucking doing.
Of course he's fucking running down the road. That's what he should be doing. It's like an overweight guy working out. Like, what's he even doing, man? Look at that guy trying to run. Yeah, he's the guy that needs to be out there running. Why are you trashing him, dude?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the type of shit that I'm talking about. Yeah. So if people are going to talk shit, right, they're going to talk shit because you showed up in a bunch of Gucci-ass gear not knowing what the fuck you're doing. I see the guys in the gym. I see the dudes with the musical equipment. I see the guys with the tactical equipment. You show up, you bought all the shit, you have no idea how to fucking use it, and people laugh at you. So you don't want to get laughed at. Here, the opposite of that is show up with a bunch of underappreciated gear, being like, man, that dude's setup sucks.
And then smoke
everybody. And then smoke everybody with it. It'd be like you showing up with flip-flops to a fucking, quarter-mile race. And then smoking everybody in flip-flops.
I'll do it.
Which is essentially what you're doing in the videos.
Yeah.
Right? You're doing all this stuff in the videos.
Get so upset?
They get upset, but they also have an appreciation. Like, basically what they're doing is they're saying, in so many words, and we say it all the time, if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. Which they're like, hey, if this guy can do it in flip-flops, there's no fucking reason why you shouldn't be able to do it with anything else. And to all of you firearms safety guys out there and all those clowns out there that are talking shit about your videos, that are like, why would you ever wear flip-flops out on the range? You wear flip-flops everywhere you go. So you wear them on the range because you train as you fight. Right. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So,
I don't change into tactical gear to go train. I'll train in my kit.
So what you're saying is, if you had a home invasion and you were walking around your house in flip-flops, do you not think that invader is going to, like, if you say, hey, time out, I got to change into boots because that's what I train in, do you think that person would wait for you? Well,
yeah, they also follow the law.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Which, interesting segue into the gun-free zone that apparently Maine was in. You want to do? Do you just want to start with that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. Shall
we? Hey, stick around, guys. Just stick around for a little bit because
we're gonna get into semen in the water.
There's semen in the water, and I just want you guys to.
It's like blood in the water.
I know.
Semen.
It's cum in the water. It's an actual news story. It's really good. So
Can I label this podcast "Cum in the Water"?
Ooh, yeah. See, I'm cum in the water. I like it. Yeah, please do. Yeah. So speaking of gun-free zones, and
GFCs.
Yeah.
Find a gun-free zone.
Find a gun-free zone. Gun-free zone near me. So fags near me.
Yeah, fagsnearme.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, let me dive right in. So as we all know, the Maine shooting just happened. Fucking horrible. Let's get this out of the way. absolute atrocity.
Yeah, we're not making light of it.
No, we're not making light of it. This is a fucking disgusting act. The vile being that decided to do this shouldn't exist. They should be wiped off the planet.
That's right.
We are not making light of anything. We're not joking about this, but we want to bring fact, or at least what we know, and we want to talk about some real shit.
Yeah.
Because if we can't talk about real shit, we're all going to turn into pussies. And once we all turn into pussies, then everything goes out the window.
Yeah, this thing is a total atrocity.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. But here's what we're finding out.
Well, what I find is an atrocity is exactly what you and I are talking about before the podcast, which is the inability of those people to protect themselves because of the gun-free zone. I'll let you take it from there.
So I heard about this shooting. What did this happen? 2-3 days ago or something. And I was like, oh shit, here it goes again. Election season shootings.
Right.
And I didn't really think much of it because obviously, we're human beings. It doesn't happen in our neck of the woods. We don't really fucking think about it very often.
Right.
But then I was like, I should look into this. This kind of is probably going to lead to a lot of implications in the Second Amendment. I'm deeply involved in that, so on and so forth. So I started looking into it, and homie, supposedly, they're saying it's Robert R. Card. That's who they're saying this is. Went into a bowling alley in Maine and shot 18 people. It was apparently a youth center, or a youth bowling night, and he went in with an AR and started shooting up the place. As soon as I heard that, I was like, Maine has like some of the best laws for guns in the country. Like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, Maine.
Is it permitless carry in Maine?
Yes, they have permitless carry. You can open carry. If I'm remembering, no, that's New Hampshire. Is live free or die. But they have some great laws for the Second Amendment there, or lack of laws, I should say.
Sure.
So I started thinking about that.
Yeah, great laws for the Second Amendment. I don't think we're ever.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, it's conundrum.
But I was looking into it, and as soon as I heard that, as soon as I was hearing this, I was like, there's no way someone didn't shoot back. Why the fuck did not anybody shoot back?
In fact, there was a dude that came at him with a knife that was subsequently killed. Did you read that report?
Not read that.
Some guy apparently all he had was a knife, and he charged at him with a knife, and
that guy's a fucking hero.
Absolutely, got shot in the fucking process, unfortunately.
Hey, he tried.
Yep.
That's the most important thing. But as soon as I thought it, I was like, why did somebody not shoot back? Well, turns out, according to this article, and I'll pop it up on screen, the bowling alley was a gun-free zone. They were very forward about saying, hey, keep your guns in the car. We don't want them in here. Keep this place family friendly. Keep our atmosphere family friendly. Well, you know what? Psychopaths don't give a shit about your rules.
That's right.
And that's the biggest problem with these politicians, or with anybody who thinks that instilling more law to take guns away from people, just in general, doesn't matter if it's law-abiding or criminal. The problem is psychopaths and criminals don't give a fuck what you think, or they don't care about the law. And they never will. Period.
The sign was posted
on the door.
Yep. So law-abiding citizens would primarily say, okay, well, if I can't have this in here, and again, there's many of us that think I'd rather be, carried by 6 than judged by 12 than carried by 6, right?
Yeah.
That's usually a common policy.
That's my idea.
That's my idea too. Not everybody thinks like that.
Right.
A lot of people follow the law to the letter of the law, and when you put those things in place, and even if especially if it's a private entity that deems it a gun-free zone, and the state says that, look, you can carry a CCW, wherever you want to, unless otherwise posted.
Right.
Then that technically is the law.
Right.
Because it was otherwise posted on there. Now, I wish people would think past that, though. Past does the law really matter in this situation? Because think about this. Imagine if somebody did draw down and shot that guy and killed that guy and saved 17 other people's lives, right? Would there truly be prosecution? We don't know. I would venture to say no.
I would pray that it would be not.
I can imagine the entire Second Amendment community and the entire nation would be in uproar if that guy saved a ton of lives by violating that gun-free zone act that they had.
I'm sure the news would just be trying to stuff it under the rug.
Of course. Yeah, of course. But at any rate, just we got to think about it like that, right? So California is doing the exact same thing right now. You can't you can conceal carry in California, but you can't conceal carry anywhere in California at this point. And the reason why is because they have categorized just about every place that you can imagine carrying a firearm in California as a gun-free zone.
Correct.
Yep. Which basically says, sure, you can go get a CCW license, but good luck on getting anywhere with it, because anywhere that you bring that firearm with you is not going to be deemed legal.
So I want to throw this out there. On top of that, I would like to clarify for just absolute clarification here. This is not legal advice by any means. Mm-hmm. But if you guys look back, Marbury versus Madison, Supreme Court decision, it says all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. And then on top of that, you read the Constitution and it says shall not be infringed. Take that as you will.
Second Amendment is the only amendment in the Constitution that explicitly states that it shall not be infringed.
Yeah, I believe in big bold letters it says, don't fuck with this one.
It's literally all it says.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, people are allowed to have guns.
Yeah.
Namely, to protect themselves against their own government.
Yeah.
And the government shall not fuck with that.
Yeah.
And that's all that's happening.
That's all that's
like,
all
how is this? Like, we can...
Because you take the second, you can take the rest.
Right. You rape, murder, steal. Think of all the myriad laws that could be committed and broken.
Right.
And you go to jail, go to prison for those things. Yet they can sit there and put things into place, violate our constitutional rights, and then not go to fucking prison for it. It isn't, and that's why, like, I have no problem saying that the majority of our current politicians should just be thrown in fucking prison.
Absolutely.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Because they're violating law.
Yeah.
They're breaking
their
the
oath.
law.
They're breaking their oath
of our fucking land, the law of the United States of America. And they're breaking their oath to uphold and support the Constitution.
Correct.
Like, it's in clear violation of everything they're supposed to be doing. So the fact that these motherfuckers are not in jail is surprising to me. How do we hold them accountable? By not voting for them? Well, that's not really a fucking option because people aren't paying attention. Everybody's fucking eyes are closed.
Right. Or everybody's playing this stupid goddamn identity politics game where they go, oh, I'm blue, I'm red, this is me, hurrah, hooray. And it's like, fuck your politics, bro.
Fuck your politics. Fuck your blue,
politics.
fuck your red.
Yeah.
Fuck liberals, fuck Republicans.
Fuck it.
It's about the Constitution.
It's about the Constitution. It's about individual fucking freedoms.
That's it. It's about the government not stepping in. That's it, dude. I get so fucking mad. I'm like, why is this so complicated? They laid it out for us.
Yeah.
They understand based on historical events, not just what was happening to them in the time, but they literally went through and said, okay, well, this is what happened to these countries, these nations, these empires, and these aristocratic societies and dictatorships and monarchies.
Yeah, they were learned scholars. They were lawyers.
They were, yeah.
They looked at history.
They understood the implications of having a government that was overreaching, and they put every possible system in place to prevent that. And yet here we are trying to tear it up and violate every single thing that they've put in it. Why? I don't fucking know. I can't wrap my mind around why. I can wrap my mind around why the politicians would do it.
Right.
Because they're in it to serve themselves and their own personal agendas, and they're in it to stay in office.
I say this quite frequently.
But I can't wrap my mind around why we fucking allow it. Mm-hmm. Why everybody doesn't have their own fucking podcast and is out there marching on the fucking streets, demonstrating.
Because we've all been pegged into submission, dude.
I think so.
Why, and it sucks.
I know.
Because the thing is, and
I'm talking to myself right now because I'm not out demonstrating in the fucking streets.
No.
But I have to. I say that this podcast is kind of cathartic because every time we do something like this, and every time I pour fucking gasoline on that pilot light that's inside of me, and we get bent out of shape about this, I do something a little bit more and a little bit more.
Right.
I get a little bit more involved with the CRPA. I get a little bit more involved with the FBC. I start reading up on it a little bit more and focusing who I'm voting on a little bit more and really digging in to the decisions that I'm about to make as a voter. And I think everybody should truly do that because that's how we, getting out there and marching, that's okay, cool, right? Demonstrating, cool. But we do it with our votes. And I just wish people could understand the implications of what's happening right now in this transition of violation of our Constitution.
Yeah. And it's nuts because the founding fathers, when they were writing the Bill of Rights, it went exactly like this. They were like, okay, you can say whatever you want. Cool, that's number one. like freedom of press, freedom of speech. Like you're entitled to yourself. And then they were like, hey guys, how do we make sure nothing encroaches upon that? And it's like, number 2, we will kill you.
Yeah.
Cool.
There it is.
there it is.
Yeah.
That's how it happened verbatim.
Yep.
Yep.
But exactly what you just said on the First Amendment, say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Second Amendment, hey, kill anybody that tells you you can't say whatever the fuck you want. And then third, when they come...
Kill anybody who tries to stop you from saying whatever you want.
Yeah, right. The Third Amendment, which is you don't have to fucking you don't have to quarter soldiers, and quartering soldiers is just allowing soldiers to shelter in your home.
Correct.
Right? It's interesting that came immediately after the Second Amendment because it's like, say whatever you want. If they don't let you, get your guns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And use those to protect yourself. And then third, when they come for you and they come for your guns, you're at no obligation to shelter them.
Yep.
Right?
When the
quarter them.
When the blue helmets come, you don't have to hold them in your house.
You don't have to hold them in your house. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. And then furthermore, you're not, should they come in your house, it's a violation. It's a legal search and seizure if they don't have probable cause of the Fourth Amendment. And you don't have to say shit in the event that they do to incriminate yourself, which is our Fifth Amendment.
And if they say it's probable cause because they're illegal firearms, that breaks the Second Amendment, so then it's not probable cause.
It's not probable cause. So it's a beautifully laid out document. It is exactly what this country was founded on. It is the foundation of our laws, and it should be respected. And it's not, and it's terrifying the direction that we're going.
Right. It really is.
And, I think more of us, including myself, can study the Constitution, what it means, and better, because I think the better educated we are on all of this, we will start to see how this is the reason why history is so important, because, as aforementioned, our founding fathers did not create these documents with just some hypothesis in mind.
They weren't just high on peyote.
No, this was based on historical documentation that dictatorships and monarchies and all of these other very government-intensive leadership.
Yeah, they learned fucking history.
Yeah, they learned history.
Yeah.
So if too much power is given, if there's too much centralized power, then it will corrupt absolutely. And they knew this.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And that is how the saying goes. And so they understood this. And so they drafted a document that would hopefully prevent this. Until we start violating the document, then it doesn't. But they weren't stupid. They saw it via historical events, how this went every single time with every monarchy and every dictatorship, and every time that centralized government had too much authority, right? It was their experience and historical knowledge that dictated the way our country would be best off.
Right.
And like we mentioned in the last podcast, and I want to reiterate, is every single one of these guys, like going into the National Archives Museum was very eye-opening, just reading those quotes. It was probably my favorite part about being in there. Sure, they had all the historical documents, but we could see all those online. It was really the quotes that went along with every single one of those and what somebody said. They were just so great because they were all like, every single one of them, with every one of the founding fathers, was like, fuck power in the government, fuck the government, fuck the government.
Fuck the government.
Fuck the government. Citizens need the power.
Yeah.
The power should be in the citizens. Decisions are made by citizens. I mean, in so many words, they didn't say exactly that, right? But in so many words, all of their quotes were fuck centralized government and they should not have the power. And the only power that they should have are the power that the citizens give them.
Right.
And that is not happening right now.
Right.
We are on a very different path. And I genuinely think that people who read up on this, that just read up on some history, studied the Constitution, even on the surface, just started scratching the surface of what the country was founded on, and get this shit out of your brain that, well, the country was founded on slavery. And okay, mistakes were made. Dumb shit happened.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to know who else has slaves? People in Africa. There's literally slavery going on in Africa right now.
And there's slavery going on
all over the world.
All over the world right now.
In the Middle East, in Africa, it's going on all over the world. So if you're just looking at the 1776 and the 1800s in the United States, you're an ignorant cunt. And get on it.
And I say this only to, and you can edit this out if this doesn't come out right.
I don't care.
Okay.
Hit it.
if anything, be grateful of the great mistake of slavery, because without it, they would have not been able to grow so quickly, so fast, and perform the things that and drive the economy as it was driven in those early days without free fucking labor. Now, I think it was completely wrong.
Yep.
I am not standing up for it.
No.
But it is a fact that
is why
the economy was able to, like, when you don't look, can you imagine how we would own the tactical equipment industry if I didn't have to pay people to be here?
Oh, absolutely.
But if I was like, hey,
if you could literally enslave all of us.
Yeah, if I could enslave all of you, like, I would literally have the biggest profit margins, be able to grow the company, offer the biggest discounts to the customers.
It'd be unbelievable.
It would be unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it right? Fuck no. Do we do it? Absolutely not. But that is the result of what happened in the beginning of in the infancy stages of the economy that we have today. So when people are enjoying this very, for lack of a better term, this lazy life that we all get to lead, it is because you're doing it on the backs of men that were forced to work for free a long time ago. And I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Right? Whether or not that's true, or whether or not that's exactly right, or whether or not something different would have manifested had there not been slavery, I don't know. It's a belief that I hold, and I'm not saying it's good. It's just is. And here we are today. So,
yeah. And on top of that, I feel like it's commonly forgotten just how many different types of slaves there were. I feel like it's commonly focused on the African American or the Caribbean slaves that were brought over in the cotton fields and things of that, but commonly not, looked at the Irish slaves or the Chinese slaves that died in droves.
Indentured servants, I believe.
Yeah,
they were.
Like
yeah. They renamed them.
Yeah, so many.
Don't call them a slave. Call them an indentured servant. So if they put their time in here, and they work for free for a bit,
they're just an indentured servant.
We'll give them citizenship.
We should just call them interns.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I could have grown this company on the back of interns.
It wasn't slavery. It was internships.
It was internships.
Lifelong internships. Hey, they still got 3 hots in the cut.
Fucking.
Anyways.
Oh, that's so bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's a joke, everybody.
That's a joke.
Dark humor. It's like a kid with cancer. Never gets old.
Never.
But I want to jump back just a little bit. Those who seek power are probably those who should not have it.
Oh, hold on. It's like, did I just hear that correctly?
Yeah.
It's like a kid with cancer. It
never gets old.
Okay. Yeah. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
Yeah, fuck.
I was talking to my Aussie
You just decided to pull that out in a fucking podcast? All these years I've known you and never said that before?
Well, the thing is, say what you will about Australian law and that. I'm not talking about that, but Aussies, they're some hard people. Americans are soft compared to Aussies.
How so?
Aussies are hard as balls. You can say anything to them, and they'll throw it right back. So they do not get their feelings hurt. They've got the thickest skin on the planet. Even though they lost a war to birds, they're hard.
Okay, so the same. All right. Along the same line, I was just thinking about this not too long ago because I was watching. I forget what it was, but it was some dude. Oh, you know what I was watching? I was watching the. What was that? What was the dude played
Princess
soccer?
Diaries.
No.
Bend It Like Beckham?
Not Bend It Like Beckham, but the documentary series on Beckham.
Okay.
And the shit that those guys would say
to each other.
Oh
yeah.
And there was some famous Brit was like crossing the street, and I don't think it was Beckham. It was one of the guys that he played with. But he was just like crossing the street, and some guy was spouting off some venom to him, and it was apparently in jest because I was like, oh, this dude's gonna knock him out. But then he turned around and started joking back with him. In America,
those are fighting words,
dude. Dude, that dude would have ran up and knocked him out for saying that. But instead, it was like I was like, oh, this is bad. Oh wait, no, it's a joke. Oh, they're all like that. It's this dry humor where they just fuck with each other all day long.
What we consider like malice and venom, they're like, this is playtime.
Yeah, this is just another day that ends in Y to us. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious.
I know, it really is.
Yeah.
I wish we had, skin as thick as that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Well,
And that's how I feel about YouTube comments.
did you
know?
want to
like people get in there and they poke, and I'm like, oh, you don't want to unleash this beast.
No,
because like I'm gonna fuck with you back.
Oh, big time.
And you're not gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah, we're not gonna like dox you, but we will post your post and then probably do a podcast about
we'll
it.
Rip you apart.
Rip you apart.
Yeah.
But my favorite response, I think you and I were talking about this the other day, is when somebody writes out this 2-3 paragraph dissertation on what they didn't like about what you were doing, and you skim it, you don't really even read it, and you're like, okay, if it's constructive criticism, totally understand it.
Absolutely.
I'll read it and I'll respond accordingly.
Yeah.
But if it's just, hey, look, I'm going to talk a bunch of shit and I have no idea what I'm talking about,
right.
The best response to those?
K. Cool. K.
K.
All
cool.
right.
One letter.
K.
Yeah, K. Or just no response would probably be better, but I can't fucking help myself.
I really like it when people say, like, either A, they're unsubscribing, or B, that they can't, like, listen to me. Like, they're like, I can't listen to a dude in flip-flops. I just like typing, bye.
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 Yeah. And the thing is, you can't get too wrapped up in that, because if you allow the internet to dictate how you feel, oh my God, man, I would have blown my brains out a long time ago.
You'll end up in a, never mind, I'm not going to go there.
How many times, I mean, what do you think about the Joel Osteen comments?
I think it's hilarious.
I know.
I'm spreading the gospel of the Second Amendment, dude.
I know. You're the 2A Joel Osteen.
I'm the 2A
dude.
preacher, bro.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. Do you embezzle all of your money from the 2A church and put it into your
have you been wondering why we've been going belly up with the company? I'm embezzling all the company funds, dude.
You're embezzling all the company funds? Nice. Yeah. Have you seen that guy's house? Joel Osteen?
It's mega mansion, dude.
God.
It's huge.
Jesus.
The Lord gave that to him.
The Lord pays well.
The Lord pays well.
The Lord pays very well.
So do old ladies watching him.
Yeah, I know.
That Joel Osteen is just such a handsome young man.
I'll give him 10% of all my retirement.
That'd be my grandma. Fucking R.I.P. Alethea, dude.
Yeah, just giving all of her 10% of her.
I love that Osteen.
Yeah, fuck, man. I have tuned in on him a couple times, and let me tell you,
he's passionate.
Yeah,
he's passionate.
Yeah. I won't tell the joke.
I can't say that word without thinking about that story. I hate you for it. I hate you for
passionate.
All right. Can I, let's touch really quick. I want to bring up some fucky stuff about the Maine shooting.
Oh, yeah.
We already talked about the gun-free zone. Big fucking surprise.
Right.
That a psychopath would, disobey a gun-free zone. But I want to talk about some fucky stuff going on here.
Right.
The police released a picture of Robert Card, which, according to the internet, according to what I'm seeing, it's not Robert Card. It's actually Robert W. Card, which was a convicted pedophile sometime back in like 2016, and is not Robert R. Card, the supposed shooter. So that's a little weird. That's a little fucky. And that is just circling out all over the internet there. Number two, apparently, Robert R. Card was admitted to a psychiatric hospital for hearing voices for a 2-week stint, I believe it was. Okay. He also is in the Army Reserves. So this is the important part that I wanted to get to. If you are in the Army Reserves, that means the U.S. federal government deemed you able and fit to serve in the U.S. military as a reserve troop. And these are the people telling you to give up your guns.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
And then there was a post. I don't know if he posted it originally, but he put it up on his story. This guy I follow on Instagram, Gucci Mane, he put up this picture, and it said, over 400 officers, plus the FBI, searching for one man, and they can't find him.
Yeah.
And you think they're going to protect you when you give up your guns.
Yes.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah. Using ground, aerial, and aquatic assets, right?
And
marine assets,
everything the FBI has, which is essentially the NSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything you got, and you can't find this dude?
Yeah. Or
let it out.
Or, all right, conspiracy theory time, which is always a conspiracy until it's true, right? But it's a conspiracy until then. I think Robert R. Card, I think he's already dead. I don't think the shooter is him. Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I think it's a whatever it is. Well, I mean the CIA already released documents. They admitted to MK Ultra, so I feel fine saying that now.
Yeah.
And all the subsequent projects that they had after that.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I fully believe Homeboy just offed himself at some point. They got his body on ice, and they're just waiting for the time to tick.
Yep.
Yep.
What do you think the motive would be behind that?
I don't know. Election season coming up.
Okay.
That's a possibility. Those who stay in power, especially those corrupted by power, will always try and keep power, right?
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I think it's also just to make the American people more frightened, right? You want the more fear that you can drive into the hearts of Americans, the more fear you can drive into the average everyday citizen, because unfortunately, even though we have a constitutional republic, it's still fucked over by democracy here and there. And if you get enough people to say we don't want guns, then unfortunately, then people are going to start kicking down doors to try and take guns.
Yeah. What's happening, though, counterintuitively to their mission to grab the guns is all it does is generate and cultivate more demand for guns.
Yes.
Notice that?
So either Lockheed Martin is down on their stocks and they need a little boost.
Yeah.
Or
and BlackRock owns Lockheed Martin through some.
I wouldn't be surprised if BlackRock owned, what is it, Sports Outdoors, or what is it?
Vista Outdoors. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're owned by BlackRock.
I'm sure. Well, with the amount of, and I think people, I mean, the thing with BlackRock too. So far as I know, I haven't dug too far deep down that rabbit hole, but they have their.
We're saying the bad words. This is going to get
dug deep. They're if I disappear, I did not commit suicide.
We are both very happy. We are both very healthy.
I do not have suicidal thoughts.
He just went to the doctor and he's good.
Yeah. In fact, I did. I just went to the doctor and I'll get back to BlackRock in a second. But
you're gonna say it. I was gonna leave it out for you.
No, it's fine. I've had this like dull pain kind of in my rectum for a really long time. If you guys want to know, you probably didn't, but now you know.
It wasn't enough lubrication.
Yeah, indeed. And it's been there for a good part of the past decade.
Nam?
Yeah, since back in Nam. I for 10 years, dull pain in my rectum. I didn't know what the fuck it was. It would come in these waves. You've seen it happen to me where I was like, dude, I can't.
It put you down.
I can't think. It was so fucking painful. It's just a throbbing. And I was thoroughly convinced that I had like colon cancer.
Yeah.
Right. And so I went to the doctor finally, and I was like, look, doc, I have got to get my butt checked because I think I have colon cancer because for the past, and she said, well, how long has this been happening? And I said, for about over a decade now. And she was like, so if you had colon cancer, you'd be dead. I was like, okay.
It's true.
That's good to know.
I hate to laugh, but it's fucking true.
I was like,
it's like if it's been going on for 10 years.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? And she was like, well, let me take a look in there and we'll see what's going on.
Let me just take a little peek.
So she's like, I got to get a chaperone in here. Right.
Oh, I love this story.
Got to get a chaperone in here, and we gotta take a little sneak peek. And so she leaves the room. She said, hey, here's this. It's a really funny story, actually. She gives me the sheet to throw over what I'm assuming would be my ass so that I could get unrobed and she can go find her male chaperone while she sticks a finger in my ass. And so she leaves. I get unrobed. I wasn't given any further instruction, and I had never done this before.
Just what you've seen on the movies.
I've just what I've seen in the movies, right? I think American Pie was the last movie I saw where somebody was getting. Did I say one finger? Better make it two.
Better
right?
Make it two.
So she comes back in, and let me tell you this. So to get set up, there was this table that I was supposed to lay down on. I got down kind of on all fours, I guess you could say.
What position would that be called?
Doggy-ish. It wasn't full doggy. It was more of me on no arch. I was on my elbows, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Ass a little in the air, right? But I was definitely in a position to get plowed. And she walks in. She walks in to that.
Just a whispering eye staring her down.
Just a whispering eye, just a little chocolate starfish right there, just winking at her.
Wink.
And she walked in and was kind of like, okay, oh God. So why don't you, I was thinking we'd do this from the side. And I was like, oh. And here I am just fucking like ready. Postured up.
Yep.
Ready to go. Ready to take it.
Yeah.
Ready to take the whole 3 or 4 or however long her fucking finger was. And And she's like, I think we should just do this on the side. I'm just going to sit in a chair on the side of the table, and you could just roll over, and I can get in there. And I was like, oh. Yeah, oh. And the guy she was with was kind of like, oh, my God, this fucking guy. But she does her thing, right? And highly uncomfortable, as you could possibly imagine. A guy leaves, and I asked her, I said, so is this typical for a chaperone, yeah. Right? And she was like, well, yeah, because I'm a female. I said, well, would I have needed a chaperone if it was a guy? Well, no. Well, okay. But what if the guy was gay? She was like, it's a good point.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I was like,
what if you got a gay doctor?
What if I got a gay doctor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure he may have enjoyed that more than she would have. No woman wants to stick a finger in another guy's ass.
Some do.
Maybe.
Most doctors don't.
No woman I've ever met. And I love how you and I both can't talk about it because I'm married and you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what. So it goes silent for like 10 seconds.
We'll just table that one.
Yeah.
I might just leave that.
If you don't edit it, like people are going to be checking their mic, like looking at their phone, going, "Did this cut out? Did my audio cut out on this?" Yeah. If you did edit it, there was like 10 seconds of awkward pause because neither of us could really dig down deep in the bowels of our body counts. Yeah. So anyway, that was my awkward experience. But getting back to BlackRock, wow, how did that? I don't know, but I know I was talking about BlackRock.
Important. Yeah.
Anyway, I got fingered. It was a great day.
He doesn't have colon cancer.
I don't have colon cancer.
You got to tell him what it is at least.
Oh, what it is was this is really giving you guys my medical history. They really lock up your medical files until you divulge them all over the internet.
Yeah.
But apparently it's.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like what you need to do to fix it.
Oh, what I need to do to fix it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Not give him the quarantine. You saw where I was going with that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought you wanted me to tell the whole story.
Nope.
Okay. I'll spare you the details. Really what it came down to was you don't have colon cancer, Mr. Dines. I suggest you eat more fiber. And I was like, really? She's like, that's it. Just more fiber. Got to get all the poop out. So you're not getting all the poop out. It's irritating some stuff in there. And yeah, Benefiber over the counter.
Yep, just get some Benefiber.
Yeah. Imagine that, man. How fucking easy is that? Doctors.
Easy.
You know what's funny? Is
How easy is that? Get a finger in, figure it out.
Get a finger in, figure it out. I swear to God, dude, I have been going to the VA about that problem. I've been going to the VA about that problem for the last better part of a decade. And the entire time they were like, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. I go to a civilian doctor, Kaiser Permanente, and within 20 minutes, this lady's like, no, you don't have cancer. Eat some fucking fiber. Get the fuck out of my office. Don't ever let me come in here again with you mounted in the doggy style position.
Don't ever make eye contact with me when my fingers are in you.
Yeah. I should have turned around and winked at her.
You should have.
I should have just winked at her.
You should have clenched.
I know. I just turn around and like, look, listen, you're going to have to take me out to dinner for, oh God. Yeah, but 10 years with the fucking VA and they couldn't tell me what this lady did in 20 fucking minutes.
Well, you know, the VA, they're really looking out for you.
Indeed.
So now, back to BlackRock.
BlackRock, I think there's a common misconception that BlackRock just fucking owns everything because they go out and buy everything, which is a thing.
True.
But it is their ownership in the stocks of all these companies on the public market. And that's why really nobody knows a lot about it, because these guys are just going in and snatching up all the stock for all these companies. And essentially, when you own stock in a company, you own
shares.
Shares
that's
of the company.
That's what it is. You own a portion of it.
Yeah. And especially when you started owning majority, you're a majority shareholder in the company.
That's how you get on the board.
Then you get on the board and then you're making decisions and there it goes.
You get dividends and
That's right. So anyway, that was all. I again, completely forgot how we segued into that, but I know we were talking about...
I said I wouldn't doubt if BlackRock owned Vista Outdoors.
Correct. Yeah, I just don't know where it came from before then.
Yeah,
neither here nor there.
I don't think it's important.
I don't think it's important
ADHD, on.
Yeah, in full effect right now.
We're a nightmare.
Jesus.
How do you guys stand us?
I know. That's why I had to that's why I really wanted to.
You did great on this, by the way.
Kind of write all these out.
I just want to say you did great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're like, hey, what are we talking about today? I send you like 2 sentences and a text, and you come to me with a full-on dossier.
I appreciate you. Yeah, this is just to kind of keep our thoughts more organized.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. I think
if anybody wants
page
to
two?
know, what is going on with...
Or no, definitely page one.
Definitely page one. I want to start with this Massachusetts anti-gun measure that is recently passed through the House of Representatives of Massachusetts, which is primarily Democratic. Go figure. It is House Bill 4135. The current status of the bill is that it's awaiting consideration of the state Senate, which it will most likely pass. And what they're trying to do is essentially what they've done in Washington and what they've done in California, which is like the assault weapon ban. But this one has a new, unique feature that I had never seen. It's a new twist in a bill that I had never seen before. And this one is gnarly.
Why don't you tell me that?
This prevents anybody from owning any rifle ever, in my opinion. So we've got all the banned features of what they would consider an assault-style rifle.
Oh, so to clarify for myself and the others, the House Bill H4135 is banning assault-style rifles with certain features.
Yes.
Okay.
And assault-style pistols.
Okay.
With certain features.
Right.
This is essentially what's happening.
What about assault-style dildos?
I believe I would consider every dildo an assault dildo because I would not want to take one of those.
It's an affront to mankind for sure.
It is an affront to mankind, indubitably.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for clarifying.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome. So here we go. Detachable, all the normal stuff that you would expect, right?
Right.
So, a telescoping stock, right? So basically about stock, pistol grip, a forward grip, hand grip, threaded barrel for flash suppressors, which California doesn't even do that. Detachable feeding device, a magazine. And here's the twist. A shroud encircling the barrel. Any handguard or hand grip that one can grab onto with their non-shooting hand to hold the rifle so that their hand does not get hot while the rifle is being fired. So isn't that, call me crazy. Is that not every fucking rifle?
That's every rifle.
A handguard.
A shroud.
Encircling the barrel?
Encircling the barrel.
Right. Is that not, doesn't every rifle have some sort of a shroud that encircles the barrel?
Well, I think the only ones that might be exempt from that, just because it doesn't fully encircle the barrel, would be like a bolt action, right?
A bolt action rifle with like a wood stock underneath the barrel to place your hand.
So like what I could think about
but
is...
reading through the bill, from what I saw, it was specifically stating a shroud that one could rest their hand on to hold the other component of the rifle, so as their hand does not get hot.
Oh, I'm
from
sure.
the firing
I'm sure
of the
there's a
barrel.
lot of fucking weird.
Dude, and I'm like, at that point, I'm like, what do you have at that point? You don't even have a rifle. So
the Henry survival rifle.
You would literally only be able to hold the barrel.
Yeah.
And shoot at a rate that the barrel would not get hot. So now, I would assume this.
Burn-proof gear is about to go straight through the roof in their stocks.
That's what I'm thinking. So I guess the workaround for the Massachusetts anti-gun measure is going to be gloves.
Right.
That you can...
Welding gloves.
Period.
Welding gloves.
Just
there
welding
it is.
gloves.
We figured it out.
So if anybody is looking to get into the market and start a business in the Second Amendment...
In Massachusetts.
Start making welding gloves. Because people are going to need them to shoot their rifles.
Yeah, I said this earlier. I'll say it again. This is not legal advice, but... Marbury versus Madison.
Okay.
All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. And then shall not be infringed.
Did you say null and void or null and void?
Null
I'm
and
just
void.
kidding, yeah. And null and void.
And null and void.
You void them and they're null and void.
Null and voids them.
So, and then they've got a definition of assault-style pistols, anything with a detachable feeding device outside of the grip, second hand grip, threaded barrel shroud, again, same thing. It is an unfortunate circumstance. Any other additional information that is on here? I cannot find.
It's just baffling.
It is.
It's just absolutely baffling that. This ties into that because like all of this stuff is hitting at once. I think it was Newsom that I saw earlier.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay. I think it was Newsom was trying to make a comparison to Australia. Speaking of Australians earlier, he was trying to make a comparison to Australia, saying that their gun bans worked.
Okay.
Now, I want to point this out. Australia, the entire country, has about 20, if I'm remembering correctly, 25 to 29 million people. The entire country of Australia.
Yeah.
Guess how many people California has?
36, 40?
39 million.
30. There it is.
One state in the United States has more people than the entire country of Australia. One state, California, has probably more immigrants than the state or than the country of Australia. Australia doesn't let a whole lot of people stay forever.
Sure. Yeah.
They my girlfriend, Carly, she went through the process to try and stay there permanently at one point. It's a fucking process. It's like $5 to $10 grand to try and get your permanent residency, and they will probably take it and probably not allow you to stay there.
Damn.
Yeah. It's a big deal. You have to have people there. That's my phone. Bye-bye. You have to have people there. You have to pay the money. You have to do a lot to stay there.
Right.
It's not like America.
Yeah.
America is very open and very welcoming to a lot of people if you do it legally.
Well, especially right now, because the borders are fucking
you can
up.
just walk across the border. Oh, thanks, dude. That's very sweet of you.
Indeed. Yeah, you just walk across the border right now, especially when you're military-age males from Syria.
Yeah.
And you don't have your families with you, and you could just say, "Oh yeah, I'm just here escaping the conflict."
Yes.
Are you?
Oh.
You and your non-fam. You don't have any family with you? No parents.
I
no
just have my
grandparents?
4 brothers.
Checks out.
That adds up.
Come on in.
Yeah. Come on.
Assholes, man.
Fuck.
Gotta be kidding me. All right. News article number 2, just a quick update.
Numero 12.
Well, let's dig into what's happening in California lately, if any of you care. I would care if I were you, even if you're not in California, because as you could see with what's happening in Massachusetts, it's just setting precedent for all these other states.
Just like a win sets a precedent, a loss sets a precedent.
That is absolutely right. Let's see here. We've got
Break.
All right. So we've got a whole litany of California's new gun control laws that Governor Gavin Newsom signed on September 26th, which was 23 gun control laws. Specifically, I'll just fly through these things real quick. Banning concealed carry in almost every public space and private property without explicit owner permission.
Shall not be infringed.
You cannot go anywhere with a CCW. Doubling the training time for concealed carry licenses, which is fantastic. Raising minimum carry age to 21. Banning private citizen access to body armor. That is part of AB 92. I'll get into that in a minute. Extending waiting period on firearm purchases up to 30 days. Instead of the 10-day cooling off period, now they are creating a 30-day cooling off period, mandating micro-stamping technology for semi-automatic firearms, and requiring use of merchant category codes for sales tracking at firearm and ammunition dealers. Okay, so this is the kicker. This is the real cherry on top of the whole situation. This is the imposing 11% excise tax on legal firearm and ammunition purchases.
Oh, you mean what the governor refers to as the sin tax?
The sin tax. Yeah.
Your right to defend yourself is a sin. Remember that.
It's fucking crazy.
That's abhorrent.
You were going to, in direct violation of the Constitution, tax people on their right to bear arms.
Yeah.
Dude, this is Tea Party shit.
This is Tea Party shit.
This is insane.
Like my blood's boiling right now. I'm pissed.
The representation behind that tax is to
there is no representation.
Well, their
taxation without representation.
Their representation of the money that will be spent on this firearm tax is that it should go into a fund for making people safer for firearms. Guess where that fund is? Okay, think about this for a second.
Do you know
the letter of the law or of the bill that was signed into effect for this 11% taxes? It shall be used for programs to make people safer around firearms, right? So around the danger of firearms We are going to put this into a fund to make people safer. So if that was the ambiguous language that was used inside of this in so many words, and again, it gets into a little bit of detail, but I pretty much summed it up.
Yeah.
That means that they can put, at any given time, they can take any of that money and put it into what?
Anything they want.
More anti-gun legislation. Because what is that technically doing?
Making, to them.
In big quotes, it's making people safer.
Right.
So if they're using that money to fund campaigns and fund politicians and fund groups and businesses alike and nonprofit organizations that solely go after people's right to bear arms, then by definition, all of the money that we are giving them is going to be turned around and used to fund the legal fees and everything involved into taking everybody's fucking guns away. That's the shit that drives me fucking crazy is nobody seeing this? Are we asleep? Because look, the 11% excise tax is frustrating. It's frustrating in and of itself. But the representation of the tax is the thing that genuinely makes me want to flip this fucking table over right now, because all they're going to do with this 11% excise tax is further perpetuate the denial of people's rights to bear arms. And they're going to use it to legislate. They're going to use it to start activist groups, fund politicians campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it angers me to the point where I can hardly fucking speak.
I know. Like I'm sitting here in silence just because I'm like,
the fact that you can go buy a gun, and with every gun you purchase, it's going to get funneled back into. It's like the more guns we buy, the worse it gets for us.
Right.
That's essentially what's happening. The more guns we buy, the more we're funding the things and the systems that are in place to take the guns away.
Right.
But here's our answer to that, right? And this is kind of a fucking shameless plug a little bit, but it's the conversation that you and I had about where we want to go with 2A Pro and 2waypro.com.
Right.
Because most of you guys don't know who are the three people that are still in listening to this podcast an hour and a half in, or don't know that 2waypro.com is a marketplace where people can go on, and it's built right now. I just have to get the payment processor set up, and I've got to work out some tweaks with the twinks. I got to work out some tweaks.
Freudian slip.
Freudian slip. I got to work out some tweaks with the code and get it all dialed in. But it will allow anybody. It's the Amazon for guns. It is an Amazon for guns.
That is the best way to wrap it around.
It's the best way to wrap it around. Think about third-party sellers being able to go on Amazon and sell whatever they want.
Yep.
Third-party sellers will be able to go on this site, and we are going to build it out.
As long as it doesn't break the law.
As long as it doesn't break the law, and add whatever they want to the site and sell whatever they want on the site. All the shit that Amazon doesn't let you sell.
Yep.
Right? And why can we do this and we don't have to worry about competing with the juggernauts like Amazon and Walmart and Target that are all going online, that are establishing these massive marketplaces for third-party sellers?
Because the other ones are owned by cucks.
Yes. Okay, there's that. And it's because everything that anybody is going to be listing on any of these sites, whether it's fucking magazines or actual firearms or body armor or whatever it is, that shit's not allowed on Amazon anyway.
Right.
So guess what we don't have to do?
You don't have to compete with Amazon.
Don't have to compete with Amazon.
Boom.
Don't have to compete with Walmart because they don't allow any of that shit anywhere. They don't allow you to sell ammunition anyway. So
because they're dumb.
Okay. The reason why I bring this up is because we are sending it back the other way with 2apro.com.
Yep. Why don't you explain this beautiful fucking gem you got going on here?
Because instead of an 11% excise tax that we are going to fund by buying firearms and they're going to put it into a fund to take them away, we are going to take a percentage of all the sales. So what I'm thinking is maybe a 10 to 12% commission. Amazon takes 15%.
Yeah.
Right? 10 to 12% commission on each sale. To keep the lights on and the company running, we might take anywhere between 3 to 6. I don't know. I haven't worked out the numbers yet and what it's actually, because just the credit card processor alone is going to cost 3%.
Yeah.
And I have to keep the lights on with the other 3 or 4%.
Right.
But then we're hoping to take 4 to 6% of the remaining commissions that are made on that site and funnel all of those into the FPC, into the Firearms Policy Coalition or the CRPA, or maybe we'll give people a choice as they check out. Hey, like 5% of your checkout, 5% of this cart value is going to go somewhere. Where would you like it to go?
Right.
Here are the 3 Second Amendment institutions that we're offering.
Yep.
right?
And it's not going to be the NRA.
And it's not going to be the NRA.
Yeah.
but it will be.
To wrap that around
I'm not
in layman's
interested
terms.
in buying that dude another yacht.
Right. To wrap that around in layman's terms for you guys, every piece of kit that you buy that comes from that website, which comes from individual sellers,
right,
is going directly to fight for your Second Amendment rights.
That's exactly right.
So every purchase, a percentage is going straight back into the hands of those who are doing the good fight for us.
Which is essentially our answer to this 11% excise tax that's going to do the opposite.
Yep.
And hopefully it all comes out in the wash and it just balances each other out.
Yep.
So,
well, hopefully we get enough percentage into the FPC's hands and the FPC gets rid of the sin tax.
That's right.
Boom.
That's right.
Yeah.
The sin tax. I still can't.
The sin tax. But I wanted to, can I quick pull right back around since we're on Newsom right now?
Oh, please do.
Because I was talking about, whether it was him or not, about Australia.
Okay.
So I have 2 Australian people visiting me as of right now. They are at my abode.
Oh,
and
nice.
And I was out getting some beers with them last night, and this is where these dark jokes came from. But I asked them, I said, hey, I've got a question for you guys, because we were talking about motorcycles, and they were talking about how difficult it is to get a motorcycle license. They have to go through all this training, pay hella money. They have to just, like, you can only get a certain CC for a certain amount of time, and then you can upgrade CC, right? So it's very restrictive.
Yeah.
Some would say it's peaceful slavery.
Right.
But so I was listening to that, and I said, hey, I got a question for you guys. I was like, I want to know your opinions on this, because we're going back and forth here, and we're talking about what they can do, what they can't do, what we can do, what we can't do. And I said, Thomas Jefferson wrote, I prefer dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery. I was like, what do you guys think about that? And both of these Australians looked at me and they said, I would absolutely prefer dangerous freedom. They were like, it's my life. I want to do what I want with it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unquestionably.
Unquestionably. So it's like, I don't know how fully that was wrapping back around. I felt like it was just important to say.
Well, it is important to say, because these are people from
that country,
another country that have been kind of indoctrinated by that country's constitution and their values and their laws, who still agree with the sentiment that free men should be free men.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Completely agreed. That's kind of a summary of California's new gun control laws. Criticism from local officials. We got Fresno County Sheriff John Zanoni, who's a beast, and the DA of the same have labeled the laws ineffective, which I think we can all agree on that. They state that they will not enforce them, which good for you guys.
Fucking A,
And they
boys.
argue that the laws fail to penalize individuals who illegally obtain firearms, because they do. They only penalize those who legally obtain firearms.
Wait.
Imagine that.
Psychopaths don't listen to the law?
I don't think so.
Mean you're telling me Ted Bundy didn't listen about eating people?
I'm telling you
Dahmer,
that
sorry.
Dahmer, yeah. Potato.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is
Psycho Citato.
is that we can literally look at this and know that it doesn't work. This is not hyperbole.
No.
Right? We are not going above and beyond the scope of like educated rhetoric here.
No.
What's happening is we've literally got an example from 3 days ago of a man who walked right past a gun-free zone sign and killed 18 people.
Yep.
So it doesn't fucking work.
More, actually. That was just in the bowling alley. He went over to a bar and grill as well.
So, but there was a total of 18 dead, right?
In the bowling alley.
And he killed more in a separate place?
Yeah,
Are you sure about that?
I believe the total is like somewhere close to, I think the total's close to 30, if I'm correct.
Killed? Dead?
I believe so. Let me check.
Okay.
I will check.
Because from what I remember, it was just 18 total. I know he shot far more than that, and there were people still in critical condition. But the bottom line is, the shit doesn't work, right? It doesn't matter how many laws you put in front of somebody that shouldn't have something, like the one that we're about to get into. I think I touched on banning private citizen access to body armor, which is essentially what they did in California, which is Assembly Bill 92, and I have an update on that.
Okay, so I am seeing 18. Maybe I saw a different number somewhere and got that mixed up in my little baby brain.
Yeah. Do you know the motive for going in there and doing this? Did you see the motive?
I didn't see the motive. What was the
The
motive?
motive was a the motive was a ex-girlfriend. He's got an ex-girlfriend that apparently worked in the service industry.
Just really hated those bowling shoes.
Just gotta get people out of those shoes. Apparently, it was industry night at the bowling alley. Industry night, for those of you that don't know, that have not worked in the restaurant industry, anytime a restaurant or any facility that serves alcohol has like industry night, it means that, you know, all the servers and bartenders from the local community show up, and they usually get discounted drinks, and everybody there is part of the restaurant industry. Anyway, his girlfriend was apparently there for industry night, and he went there apparently looking for her, and then just decided to kill a bunch of people instead. But again, this is allegedly, and that is their hypothesis and their motive that they're trying to put behind this, but I think that is all bullshit, and there's more to this than meets the eye.
You know, Daddy, I'm going to say that's bullshit.
That right there is bullshit.
That's bullshit, too.
I'm going to say that's bullshit.
And then there's all these interviews from his family and friends that knew him. And they're like, and it's the typical interview.
Yeah, he would have never done that.
He seems like a great guy. He's a great guy. I never would have thought he would have done it. But they were all like, yeah, he's really level-headed. Like I mean, all of them were like, I have never in a million years would think that this guy would do such a thing. And it's probably because, yeah, he probably would do no such thing. And there's something else nefarious going on behind this.
Kind of like the Vegas shooter almost.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Dig into that one a little bit, guys. I don't
dark.
know. Go down that rabbit hole, seriously.
Yeah, that's a fucked up rabbit hole to go down.
So,
you get put on a list real quick for looking at that one.
hopefully this will all come to the surface soon, and I'm sure even if it does, it'll get swept right under that fucking rug if it does not accommodate the agenda of those media outlets that would be covering it and the politicians of whom would not benefit from it.
Right.
So
just go read the book 1984 for
yeah,
Christ's sake.
just go back and read it. That'll tell you everything you need to know. California AB 92 body armor ban, that is fully in effect. That has been signed. That is going down. This is
when will that be official?
So initially it was like, hey, nobody can own body armor. I'll make it quick. Initially, we've talked about it several times. That's why. Initially, it was like nobody can own body armor, and then our people that were supporting Second Amendment were like, no, it's not a fucking thing. They pushed back really hard. CRPA did a lot of work, and then it went back. It got revised, and eventually, what it came down to was you can't own body armor if you can't own a gun.
Hasn't that already kind of been a thing?
Dude, it's federal.
Yeah.
It's already you're federally prohibited to own body armor if you have a felony. But now it's you can't own body. The reason why it's just slightly different is because you don't have to be a felon to not own a gun in California, to not be able to own a gun in California.
Right.
Because maybe you...
maybe it's just some brain stuff.
Well,
yeah.
Domestic violence.
Right.
So if you've committed an act of domestic violence, then you're not allowed to own a gun. And therefore, you're also not allowed to own body armor. If you have assault charges, the court might have mandated you're not allowed to have a gun with these charges. It really just depends, right? And if you can't pass a background to get a gun, now you can't protect yourself with body armor. You made a stupid decision when you were 21, you got in a fucking bar fight, knocked some dude out. Can't own a gun. Can't own body armor. Can't even passively defend yourself. So that's really where they take the rights away from the citizens, even citizens who have made mistakes in the past. So,
but hey,
that's where it sits right now.
Hey there, kiddo.
And that is in full force and effect.
You want to go kill in another country?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so the way that amendment works is it's a felony charge for violent felons possessing body armor. It's a misdemeanor charge for those prohibited from possessing firearm who own body armor. The court's got to inform the individuals of the body armor prohibition. It allows petitions for exceptions on prohibition with conditions and requirements. That means like if you're like, well, I technically can't own a gun, but I'm a security guard for X, Y, and Z, and I'm an unarmed security guard. Can I please have body armor? And then you could beg your government for the right to carry body armor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of all it could be. Now, let's state straight and clear. Infringement, this is bullshit. This needs to be overturned.
Mm-hmm.
But out of everything it could be, it's at least a little bit better.
And it provides total immunity for law enforcement enforcing this prohibition.
Oh, that's strange. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, total immunity.
Weird.
Yeah, they can come in and take your shit, and they do not have to be held responsible for it.
Those level 4 plates?
Fuck. Okay. All right. So, let's see. Law enforcement has discretion in granting relief, though. Oh, nice. Oh, how about that? Yeah, just not the individual.
Yes.
And I think that really covers everything that I wanted to cover, except for the moment we've all been waiting for.
God.
The moment we've all been waiting for, which is semen in the water.
Come in the water.
Come in the water.
Come in the
Come
water.
in the water. Semen in the water would just be a naval ship.
Yeah.
Come in the water, however, is completely different.
It makes me think of like smoke on the water. Come in the water.
A fucking fire in the sky.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. Semen in the water.
Please.
Incident at the Ritz-Carlton.
Take it away.
Ritz-Carlton at Half Moon Bay. That's out here in the Communist Republic of California. I'll walk you through.
Do you want to know why it's called Half Moon Bay?
I would love. Is it because it's shaped like a half moon instead of a full moon?
Because it's transitioning.
It's a transition.
It's half.
It's a half moon. It's a transitioning moon.
Yeah.
And it's in the Bay Area.
That might be too sophisticated or
That
just
would be.
too stupid for some
Yeah,
people to catch. It was a dumb joke as soon as I said it, but like
It's a transitioning moon bay.
transitioning moon bay.
What
All
if
right.
it doesn't identify as half? What if it identifies as crescent?
That's right. Did you ask the moon bay how it identifies?
Let's talk about Cum in the Water. Introduction to Cum in the Water. Couple books, a 4-night stay to celebrate a birthday.
Just a couples getaway.
Just a couple's getaway.
Yeah.
Celebrate a birthday.
You know, spicing up the relationship a little
Karen and her husbit Kyle.
bit. Yep. Going out to make
out for
sweet
a
love at the Ritz-Carlton and Half Moon Bay.
Night on the town.
Some hotel sex.
And then this stay turns into it takes a traumatic turn. A traumatic turn for the worst. After many arguments with the staff, the wait staff, as a typical Karen would do, she demands water to her room.
Ooh.
And the wait staff brings water to her room.
I have a question real
Wrapped nicely in it. Go ahead.
quick. I was going to say, when you go on like excursions, whether it's with your wife or for work, how many times do you get in multiple arguments with staff and wait staff?
0.0 times typically.
Continue.
Usually brushed off as, hey, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fuck this up for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you even if you tried to.
Perfect. Continue.
Usually how I operate.
All right. So Karen requests water to room.
And they refer to as Jane Doe in the article, but you know her name's fucking Karen.
Yeah.
So, God, I shouldn't say that. It's really bad. My mom's name is Karen.
It's an unfortunate circumstance
It
at
is.
a time, like
it
a
is.
swastika.
But she's not like that. My mom doesn't. Yeah, she's the anomaly.
I look at it like this. The swastika's gone. So is the name Karen. It's over, dude.
It's over.
It's gone.
It's over. So she mandates this water up to her room, and they graciously bring it to her.
Graciously.
So she proceeds to drink this contaminated water. And
Unbeknownst to her at the
unbeknownst to her. So apparently, as the conversation goes, she tells Kyle, hey, I think after I've drinking some of this clear water with clear semen inside of it, that I taste semen. And then they proceed to open an investigation of whether or not there is semen in this water. They get a lab to test the water with the semen inside it, the alleged semen inside of it. And lo and behold, the results come back with semen in the water that was brought to her by the Ritz-Carlton staff. Now, I have a couple of questions here. I'm sure you folks do here that are listening, which is, how do you take a drink of water and then immediately realize that there is semen in your water?
That tastes like cum.
There's a couple hypotheses here.
Yes.
Let's walk through them.
You drink a lot of cum.
One, yes. Yeah. Then your husband's a very happy man because you have repeatedly taken money shots enough to know that even when there are trace amounts in your water, it is semen.
Wait staff, terribly upset. Husband, terribly happy.
Terribly happy. Yeah.
That's the reason he puts up with her.
That's clearly. Yeah. That's a good call.
It's the only reason to put up with someone who's terrible with wait staff.
Hey, if you've got less than 1% of semen in the water and she can identify that there's semen in the water, marry her. Marry her, because you're in for a hell of a time. So, okay. So we've got this happening.
That's hypothesis number one.
That's hypothesis number one. Hypothesis number two is there was just an overwhelming amount of semen in the water. as if they didn't ratio it properly.
Right.
Like 3/4 of the 20-ounce
like
water bottle.
3 dudes just like emptied in there and just like shook it up. So like
there could be that.
the moral to this whole story.
I didn't get the actual ratio. Right. We don't know if it was
like a pitcher or
we
was
don't.
It a bottle?
Was it? Well, it was a bottle.
Okay, it was a
bottle.
bottle.
It was a Ritz-Carlton labeled water bottle.
Ooh, fancy.
Yes. Yeah. So it was their own branded bottle. And I just didn't get, I don't know if it was a homogeneous mixture, if they had, how well they had shaken it and dispersed the semen. There could have been some serious like stringy floaters cruising around in there. But apparently, as the story goes, she drank it, tasted it, and identified it. So, Karen, you're a slut. First of all, I think we can establish that because you immediately identified it after the taste. But they might have overshot the mark and done like a half and half.
Right.
Which I think we'd all know if it was half and half.
I think we would all figure it out.
Yeah. They were like, hey, we got to bring this up to her like we would be bringing her coffee for her creamer.
Yeah.
Half cream, half milk. Right?
The moral of this whole story is, folks, look before you take drinks of things.
No. That is not the moral to the story, folks. That is amoral, potentially, but it is a submoral to the main moral.
Which is don't be a dick to
Don't be
staff.
a dick to the people that are serving you while you're on vacation.
What's the movie with Ryan Reynolds? Is it Serving or is it Waiting?
It's Waiting.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Go watch Waiting. You'll figure out why.
Go watch Waiting. The movie is incredible.
You'll never eat at a restaurant the same way ever again.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
So she believes it to be an act of sexual assault and exploitations due to hotel negligence. And filed a lawsuit against the Ritz-Carlton, which they subsequently came back and offered her Marriott, because they're owned by Marriott. They offered her Marriott rewards points.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what I would do.
Fucking A.
Yeah, we're like,
it's hey,
let's see if she'll take like a free night stay on us
somewhere. You drank some random cum. How about some rewards points?
Yeah. You've probably done it for less. Let's be honest.
How does a stay in Fresno sound?
I know. Let's be honest. This is the most you've ever been paid for drinking cum. Be grateful.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we know that she, out of her own malice and spite, didn't take it to this third party? Because most Ritz-Carltons that I've been to don't have, cum testing facilities in the Ritz-Carlton.
I don't think they do.
So she had to take this out to a third party laboratory.
So one thing that I saw in the article, and again, the actual article isn't in front of me, it's my notes from the article. As it goes, there was actually some debate, and she was a bit irritated because apparently it was given to hotel management to test whether or not there was semen in the bottle.
Okay.
And then it went to the lab to get tested and then given back to the hotel, but the hotel will not release it. Now she wants to retain ownership of this bottle of cum. She wants to finish the bottle, and they won't release the bottle. So
she's like, I've had a taste.
I think it was handed off to the staff who handed it off to a lab.
Oh, gotcha.
Who then investigated it, and indeed it came back positive for semen. But you actually posed a really good hypothesis, which should have been hypothesis number 3, because we've got 3. 1, you're a total slut and you tasted semen right out the gate. 2, they overshot the mark and didn't dilute it with water enough. Half and half mixture, possibly.
Yeah.
Got the entire wait staff. Probably the wait staff that hadn't been laid in a while, hadn't cleaned the pipes in a while.
What wait staff has been laid recently?
That all they do is fuck each other. You ever worked at a restaurant?
That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then third was your hypothesis, which was maybe they were trying to get a little something extra out of this stay, trying to get their vacation paid for or maybe trying to get some like just formal retirement money out of this.
People have fake slipped.
Kyle did a
little hanky-panky into the bottle.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kyle might have ejaculated into this bottle of water.
And then she's all, there's cum in this bottle. Look,
right. And they were like, I don't know about that. Let's go test it.
Yep.
So I think what they're probably doing is seeing how far this lawsuit goes, retaining the evidence of the bottle, whether it's being retained in the lab or the Ritz, I don't really know. But it will all come out in the wash, and here is why. Because a good attorney on behalf of the Marriott would say, let's take DNA samples of the semen that was in this water, and let's not only test the waitstaff that was involved in these shenanigans, but let's test Kyle.
Yeah.
See if any Kyle's semen is in there. Now, I can imagine Kyle's semen would be in there if there was any backwash when she released it back into the bottle, considering the fact that we all know why he married her in the first place.
Correct.
Because she was able to identify semen
in a split
in
second.
a 20-ounce bottle of water in a split second. But we were talking about, like, how would you react if you drank some water that wasn't necessarily tasting right? Would you go, oh, this must be semen? Or would you say, I don't like the taste of this salty water, I'm going to throw it away and grab another bottle of water?
Here's what I would do. Well, here's what realistically I would do first.
But it depends on what you did before that, which is, did I just yell at my waitstaff?
Correct.
Okay.
So realistically, for me,
Yeah.
as a sane human being, I would go, I would look at my water before I drank it. But let's say I did.
Okay.
I would drink it. I would go, that doesn't taste good. I would look at it. I would go, that's gross. And then I would dump it out.
I would too.
I would not go, that's cum.
And I'm going to go give it to the staff so they could give it to a lab.
I'm not going to go, I recognize that.
I see that anywhere.
Cum in water.
Yeah, she was highly concerned that it was going to fill her with, this is all coming from the article, she was very concerned that she was going to get sexually transmitted diseases.
She is a sexually
but you are a sexually, like, I'd be more worried about the water at this point than you. So if anything, you are just a walking antidote for that shit.
Let's talk about this for 1 second. What a hilarious for that manager. For just some batshit crazy lady to be coming down to you, right? She's got to be fuming. There's no way that she's not in this case, whether she made it up or not.
Right.
She's fuming. She's in the zone. She's an actress.
Yeah, she's mad.
She comes to you.
Dude.
She slams this bottle of water and she goes,
There
is cum in my water bottle. What do you do?
I don't know.
Like, you're just like
flipping through your hotel management handbook.
Yeah, you're just like,
I don't have anything for this. I've never been. How do we address this?
What did you say?
What? Excuse me? Come again?
Come again?
Yeah. So
that would be hilarious. She's all, there's cum in this water. He goes, come again?
Yeah. The lab test confirmed semen presence. Results were not shared with the couple of whose cum it was, and the hotel offered compensation, which was unsatisfactory, only offering Marriott's rewards points. Let's go over the impact on the victims that it had so we can give a clear diagnosis of this entire thing. She fears potential health risks. Her husband is distressed and their relationship has suffered. No shit, you just drank some other dude's cum. And emotional and intimate aspects of their marriage have negatively been impacted. Now, the plaintiff's background, she was visiting from Washington State. Daughter attended a nearby university and a longtime customers of Marriott and Ritz-Carlton properties. So they were, this was new for them, apparently.
But it was a long time coming.
Yes. The lawsuit accusation is the hotel was negligent in inspecting their food and beverage items prior to delivering, probably being unassuming that it would contain semen. And the hotel did not apprehend or identify the responsible employee.
Most people wouldn't assume water bottles have cum in them.
But this is the killer one, right? The lawsuit accusations is that the hotel did not apprehend or identify the responsible employee. But how would you apprehend or identify the responsible employee?
You would look back on the cameras.
No.
Oh.
You would look for the guy with a smile on his face.
Right.
Yes. Or you'd take it to the next level, right? You'd hire a total 10 that you found walking around there. And you'd say, listen, I need you to go up to every member of the current wait staff this evening and offer him the night of his life in a hotel room that you're staying in after he gets off work, right? And the one that declines is the one that just ejaculated.
The one that just jerked off in a water bottle.
I don't know. That's where my mind goes.
That's the most reasonable solution to this problem, honestly.
Yeah. And as you can imagine, there has been no comment from the Marriott or the Ritz-Carlton. And with that, my tactical termites, we bid thee
a quiff.